Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we meet again in the next class. So today I'm going to explain more on the next subtopic for differentiation. So we start with first principle. Okay, for your information, first principle ni adalah another concept of how to differentiate. Asyik dengar perkataan differentiate je kan, but you don't know what we have to differentiate. Okay, apa benda ni differentiate? You don't know. Now, if you see this, if you see the screen, you can see that by differentiating a function, you can get a gradient function of a tangent. Okay? So, maksudnya kat sini, bila kita ada satu function, kita nak cari satu point di dalam function ini, if dia tak bagi kita, we can use differentiation to find the gradient function of the tangent. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss more about the first principle because I'm going to skip this and I'm going to keep this one later for you untuk you understand more. And before we start, before kita masuk kat first principle of differentiation, kita nak pergi kepada first derivative. Okay, this is the first derivative, ataupun sebenarnya dia datang, the concept comes from the first principle. Tapi to make it easier, so I can explain to you what is first derivative. Tak nak peningkan kepala you all dengan first principle. Okay, so if you can see here, I besarkan sikit. Okay, if you can see here, this is the beginning function. Ini function yang dia bagi, y sama dengan fx. So if the question just give you the points, if the question give you just the function, sekarang kita nak cari point. So kita boleh cari point itu sekiranya kita differentiate this function. Same goes with this one. So kita boleh cari gradient function untuk function tersebut. Okay, so ini function yang sebenar dia, yang parabola ni. So kita boleh cari gradient function dia, the straight line ni yang touch the function ni, the graph function, by differentiate. Okay, sama juga dengan yang cube macam ni. So y fx ni adalah yang cube root ni, yang cube ni, function yang cube ni. Tapi macam mana kita nak carikan point ataupun maximum point yang touch dengan equation kita ni tadi? So we can use differentiation to find the intersection ataupun to find the maximum point. Ataupun intersection point ataupun gradient function untuk kita punya function. Okay, I'm going to explain more about that later. But this one, I'll tell you the concept of how you want to differentiate. Okay, to find the gradient function f inverse x, dalam kes ni sebab kita guna f kan, fx kan, for the function fx ax power of n. Okay, katakanlah ini dia punya function a is the coefficient, x ni adalah unknown lah, and n is the power. So how to differentiate? You can use this formula, which is, formula dia adalah f prime x, we call this as prime, f prime x is equals to a n x n minus 1. Okay, where do you get n from? Okay, kat mana kita dapat n ni tadi? Kita dapat n ni tadi adalah daripada n, kita punya power. So power dia ni tadi kita reduce ataupun kita turunkan dia dan kita multiply dia with coefficient. Multiplied with coefficient. Coefficient tu apa? Coefficient per kali, and then what's left, bila we reduce the power, then we have to minus with 1. So this is the formula that you think, oh, this is easy, okay, I can understand this. Okay, so ini senang sahaja sebenarnya. Okay, let's look at the example of how you want to differentiate. Okay, so there are three notation can be used to indicate the first derivative. Ni cara dia lah. It's actually cara dia macam mana kita nak differentiate. Okay, katakanlah tadi kita ada fx kan. Tadi kita ada fx. So bila kita differentiate, kita ada f prime x. Tapi bila kita ada y, bila kita differentiate y, so katakanlah kita ada function y sama dengan 3x kuasa 2. So bila kita differentiate, kita akan jadi dy over dx. Apa maksud dy over dx ni? Maksudnya ialah dy over dx is read at differentiating y with respect to x. We want to differentiate y with respect to x. Okey, kenapa x? Sebab dalam unknown yang kita bagi, kita ada x. So, sebab tu kita differentiate dengan unknown. Differentiate with respect to x ni maksudnya x lah. Okay, so over dx. So, apa yang kita buat dekat sini? We reduce the power of the unknown. So, kalau kat sini power dia 2, so kita turunkan ataupun kita reduce power dia ke bawah. Kita multiply dengan coefficient. So, what's left for unknown? It's that the power we have to multiply by 1. Kita kena deduct with 1. So, dia dapat 6x. Kemungkinan juga, tadi dia dalam bentuk y kan? Kemungkinan juga di dalam bentuk fx. It's either f, kita boleh call function ni as y, or we can call the function fx. Fx is equal to 3x squared. So to find the differentiate, if we want to differentiate, so dia akan jadi f prime x is equals to 3x power of 2 ni tadi, 2 ni tadi dia power, we will reduce it. Kita bawa turun, kita multiply dengan coefficient dia. So, x 2 minus 1. We have to deduct with 1. So, dapat 6x. Ada kemungkinan lagi, if it's just give you something like this. D over dx ni, okay, tengok. D over dx ni, terus dia bagi 3x square. So, this is the function. This is actually the function, okay? Ini sebenarnya function yang dia ada. So, yang ini kita terus je calculate. Kita terus saja calculate. Then, 2 ni tadi kita bawa turun ke depan, multiply dengan coefficient, atau kata terbaiknya adalah we reduce the power of the unknown. So, unknown ni akan tinggal tolak 1. So, kita dapat 6x. So, these three are the example, the easiest example of what differentiate is. Okay? Ni adalah 3 bentuk notation lah untuk kita indicate untuk the first derivative. Okay, let's look at the example, okay? Okay, we try to do it one by one. I'm going to do it slowly. If you still don't understand, you can please repeat the videos, or you can ask me directly, PM ke, you can message me or whatsoever. Okay, so the first derivative ni, point dia adalah you have to reducing the power of x. Kita nak reduce power x tu. X tu kalau ada 10, kita nak tinggalkan 9. Kalau x tu ada 2, dia akan jadi 1. Okay, differentiate with respect to x sekiranya function dia adalah dy. So, we will differentiate it dengan apa unknown yang kita ada. Okay, so example pertama dekat sini. The question said that find the dy dx ataupun find the first derivative of the function. Okay, sebab I ada guna fx juga. Nanti kamu cari dy dx kan tak betul pula. Okay, katakanlah this is the function y equals to 5x. Okay, now you see what is the unknown that we use in this function? The unknown is x and the power is 1. Kalau dia tak tulis tu, meaning that the power is 1. So, what we do is, we will try to reduce the power. Okay. So, 5x. So, macam tadi soalan tadi, 5, that is the coefficient. I have to reduce the power where the power is actually 1. Betul tak? Power untuk x1 tadi 1 kan. So I turunkan 1. So x tinggal apa? Dia ada power 1 tadi. Lepas tu kita kena tolak dengan 1. So dia akan jadi 5 darab 1 5. X kuasa kosong. X kuasa kosong ni sebenarnya berapa? 1. So 5 darab 1 adalah 5. Okay, it's easy as that. Okay, what about this one? Okay, in this question, we want to differentiate y with respect to x. Now, do you see any x here? Ada tak x kat sini? It's only 1 over 6, where 1 over 6 ni adalah numbers. So dy over dx, how do we want to differentiate x if there's no x? So meaning that in this question, it is equals to 0. Okay, moving on to the next question. So this will be easier for me because I did this all the time. Okay, if you want to get the answer, you pause my video and then you try. You pause, you try, you pause, you try, and then you check whether you got the answer right or wrong. Okay, this is the power for x. So we can differentiate this because there's an x there. So we reduce the power of x, so it becomes like 3 times 2. So what happened next is x 2 minus with 1, because what we do just now, we just reduce the power of x to 2, then we have to deduct it with 1, so that's mean that the reducing the power, so you get 3 times 2 is 6, and x2 minus 1 is power of 1, so 6x. Okay, now let's try number 4. So because we are using fx, so meaning that the first derivative is f prime x. So what I do is negative for the coefficient multiplied with, what's the power? The power is 3. Okay, so x 3 minus with 1. So what do you get? Negative 12 x power of 2. Okay, do you understand this? Very good. I know you understand. Now, next one. Moving on to the fifth question, dy over dx. Miss, how do we solve this? Okay, how do you want to solve this? So this is actually 1 over 5 x power of 1 over 2. Square root x mean x power of 1 over 2. Do you see the square root? Do you see the power now? Yes, exactly. So 1 over 5, so that is the coefficient, 1 over 5 multiplied it with, what is the power for x just now? So it's 1 over 2, right? So what's left for x? So x tadi kita ada 1 over 2, so you have to minus it with 1, right? So you have 1 over 10 x power of negative 1 over 2. What happened if the power is negative? So when the power is negative means that 1 over 10 times with 1 over x power of 1 over 2. You already learned this in Form 3 and I know you still remember this. Okay, and then we can simplify this. X power of 1 over 2 is actually square root of x. So we can simplify to be 10 square root of x. Okay, easy, right? Alright. Okay, what about this one? Miss, look at the power for x. Okay, look at the power of x. So the x is at the denominator now. What we do first is we have to change the position of x. So we change the position of x. We take the x to be the numerator now. Kita nak bawakan x duduk dekat atas pula. In that case, when we want to take x to be the numerator, you have to put negative 2. Okay? So what happened is dia akan jadi 3 over 8. So that is the, okay, I think the answer is wrong here. So 3 over 8 times with negative 2. Okay, is it impossible for the power to be negative? No, it is not impossible. Same like our question number 6. Okay, we reduce the power of x. So negative 2, we multiplied it with the coefficient. So apa yang tinggal for x? Negative 2 minus 1. So what do you get? So tu betul jawapan tadi. So it happens to be sorry, this is supposed to be 4. Negative 3 over 4 x power of negative 3. So what I mentioned earlier just now, we want to make it simpler. We want to make it elok kedudukannya, we take our x to be the denominator, and that's how you put the power of 3 for x. So bila dia dah berada kat denominator sekarang, there's no more negative. Okay, remember kids, one thing that I always remind my student, okay, the position of negative, if it's adalah pecahan, it must be in the middle or at the numerator. It should be dekat atas the numerator, ataupun dia berada in between the numerator and denominator. You cannot put like this. This is totally wrong. This is the wrong writing of numbers ataupun matematik. Dalam matematiknya salah. So don't do like this, okay? So moving on to the next question. I got like a few more questions after this. Okay. So moving on to question number 7. Miss, I got two apa kita panggil tu, terms of x. Miss, how do we do this? Okay, that's not a problem at all. So let's try to do it slowly. Okay, because this is y and this is x, so we have to differentiate dy with respect to x. So we say that it's dy over dx. So I take my 3 and I multiplied it with my coefficient, and what happens to my x? I lose 1x. I kehilangan 1x. And same goes with the other terms. So it's 3 over 4 times with 4. So x power of 4 minus 1. Okay. So we have 15x power of 2 plus 3x power of 3. Okay. Okay. Next one. Okay, so that's your answer, yeah? Okay, so moving on to the next question. Okay, moving on to question number 8. So what happens if you see something like this? So this is actually fx is equals to x power of 1 over 2, right? Minus with 9. So first thing first, what you do is you have to multiply it first, one by one. Okay, buat mangkuk. So x power of 1 times x power of 1 over 2 sebenarnya jadi x 1 plus 1 over 2 minus 9x. Okay, so this is happen to be x 3 over 2 minus 9x. Okay, don't you think you can solve this? So f prime x is actually 3 over 2 x power of 3 over 2 tadi power dia kita turunkan, kita letak kat depan. So 3 over 2 minus 1 minus ini power of 1 kan tadi, power of 1 kan. So we take 1 down and then x dia jadi 1 minus 1 kan. Okay, so kita jadi 3 per 2 x power of berapa tu? 1 per 2 minus 9. Okay, if you want to make it simpler, you can write 3 over 2 x square root minus 9, because we know that x power of 1 over 2 is square root. Okay? Okay, next one. Okay, next one. So what if we have power of 2? Miss, how do we do this? Okay, if it's power of 2, then it should be no problem. So fx equals to, kalau dalam kes begini, kita kena expand. Okay, kita expand dulu. Kita tak boleh differentiate dulu, kita expand. Okay, ni cara satu-satu. Nanti I ajar cara yang lebih mudah untuk kita buat ni. Okay, so when we expand, satu-satu kan, darabkan negative 2x minus 2x plus 4, then you'll get like this. So ini kita belum differentiate lagi. So kalau kita dah differentiate kan, agak-agak kita dapat berapa? F prime x is equals to 2 bawa turun ke depan, X minus 4. Okay, kenapa tinggal 4? Habis yang belakang ni tak ada ke, Miss? I tanya you, do you see any point, any unknown dekat belakang? Ada X tak kat belakang? Tak ada. So, bila tiada, maksudnya we cannot differentiate it with respect to X. So, meaning that it is equal to 0. So, jawapannya 2X minus 4. Okay, boleh Right. So, for question number 10, so this is Fx equals to, how do we solve this? Miss, I got denominator, I got numerator. So, what to do is solve this first. Okay. So, dia jadi 2x square minus 2x plus x minus 1 over x kan. So, dia jadi 2x square minus x minus 1 over x. Okay, so I kena buat yang baru kat sini. Okay. So, tadi soalannya. Sekejap. Okay, wait So, because the space is very small, so I need to do something. Sorry. So, I need to cut this first. I need to cut this first. Copy and then I put it. At the next slide. Okay. There you go. So, then to continue is, because the denominator is only x, so what I can do is, I can do like this, right? I can do like this, right? So, we can simplify this 2x minus 1 over x. We cannot do anything for this one. So, lepas ni baru kita differentiate. Okay, to differentiate f prime x is equals to, okay, kalau kita differentiate 2x, so dia jadi 2 minus 0, because there's no more x here, right? Minus, this is actually x power of negative 1. Betul tak? So, what I do is, I take down the negative 1. Okay. Lepas tu, I multiplied x with negative 1 minus 1. Betul tak ni? Betul tak kalau I differentiate x negative 1? Kalau I nak differentiate lah. Kalau I nak differentiate, I kena turunkan negative 1. Xi kat sini tinggal tadi negative 1 kan? So, I tolak 1. So, dia akan jadi apa? Negative x power of negative 2. Okay, betul. So, kita ada 2. Tolak kosong habislah. Tolak negative x, negative 2. Okay, kita simplify dia jadi 2 tambah x power of negative 2. Ataupun kita simplify 2 tambah 1 per x kuasa 2. Okay, so that's how you simplify the first derivative. Ataupun kita mencari, kita differentiate. Inilah benda yang pertama yang you all guna, iaitu belajar, iaitu differentiate. Inilah sebenarnya differentiate. Bila kita kata, okay, differentiate. Okay, sebenarnya inilah differentiate. Okay. Kita sudah habis untuk explaining on how to differentiate the function. Sekarang kita pergi sikit lagi, iaitu first derivative of composite function. Okay, tadi I ada nampak soalan ni keluar. 2x tambah 3 kuasa 2. Okay, so for this one, kita kena guna chain rule. Kalau tak nak guna chain rule pun, I have another second method untuk I ajarkan you all. Second method. It's up to you which one you want to use, okay? So, using the chain rule, we have dy over dx and we have du over dx. So, kenapa kita panggil chain rule? Sekejap. Okay, kenapa kita panggil chain rule? Sebab dy dx di bawah, kan? So, kalau kita potong du dengan du ni, dia akan jadi apa? Dia tetap akan jadi dy over dx. So, kita kena wujudkan u tu. Okay? So, we have to let something to be u. Let our function to be u. Okay. So, in this case, Alamak. Okay, so in this case, apa yang I buat ni kuasa 2 tadi kan? So this is our function. Y sama dengan 2x tambah 3 power of 2. Okay, so we said that kita nak let, ni dia let. Let U tu adalah orang yang di dalam ni. Orang yang kat dalam kurungan ni, yang ada kuasa ni. So Y sama dengan 2x tambah 3. So, bila kita dah letkan Y tu sebenarnya 2x tambah 3. So, Y kita sebenarnya apa? U kuasa 2 kan? Ini kan U tadi kita dah masukkan kan? So, ini tadi dah U kan? Ini U kan? So, bila kita replace balik dalam Y, dia jadi Y sama dengan U kuasa 2. Following the formula of chain rule, dy dx is equals to dy over du times du over dx. Maka kita dah wujudkan du kat sini. Okay, so du ni kita nak differentiate, mestilah differentiate dengan apa unknown yang kita ada dekat u kan. So apa unknown dia? Unknown dia adalah x. So when you differentiate u, du differentiate with respect to x, so you akan tinggal 2. Tapi bila kita differentiate dy over du, kita dapat daripada function u kuasa 2, kita dapat 2u. So, take back the chain formula. Kita ambil semula chain formula, iaitu dy over dx is equals to dy over du times du over dx. So, apa dia dy dx? Apa dia dy du kita tadi? Dy du kita tadi adalah 2u. So, apa dia du dx kita tadi? Du dx kita adalah 2. So, kita dah dapat jawapan dia sepatutnya 4u. Tetapi sebab dia nak dy dx, mana x-nya? X mana? So what you do is you replace. Tuna warna biru. Replace the u with x. Okay. U tadi ialah apa tadi kat atas ni? 2x tambah 3. So, masukkan semula. Kita dapatlah 4 sama dengan A equals to 4. 2x plus 3. Or you can wrote 8x plus 12. Okay, as easy as that, right? Senang je kan? Okay, there's another method for you. If you want to make it easier, I always do this. Tapi kebanyakan pelajar akan tertinggal satu benda. Ni yang I risau, yang bahagian sini. Okay, if you see the question, ada third method sebenarnya. Satu lagi method kamu boleh kembangkan macam ni. Satu lagi method, you can expand like this. Tapi expand kalau 2 saja. Kalau 3 kita tak recommend. You can use this chain rule. Okay, so ada satu lagi cara adalah, okay, you differentiate macam biasa by not letting anything. Kita tak let apa-apa pun. Kita tak let u ke, kita tak let apa-apa. Cuma kita kena ingat, kat sini ada x, dekat luar pun ada power. So what we do is, we reduce the power of 2x plus 3. Kuasa 2 ni tadi, kita turunkan 2 ke bawah. So dia jadi 2x tambah 3. Power dia ni tadi 2, kita kena tolakkan dengan 1. But remember kids, orang yang di dalam ni juga ada function, iaitu function dia adalah 2x tambah 3. Kita tak differentiate lagi 2x tambah 3 ni. Kan kalau setiap kali ada x, kita kena differentiate. So, yang function yang di dalam bracket ni kita belum reduce lagi. We just reducing the power sahaja. So, what we do is, we do d over dx. Kita buat sekali lagi only for the function inside the bracket, which is 2x plus 3. If we differentiate 2x plus 3, we get 2. So, you simplify, you get 4 in the bracket of 2x plus 3. Dan kalau kita darab macam biasa, kita dapat 8x plus 12. Same with the one that I show you earlier. Okay? Sama je. First method ke, second method ke, ataupun third method macam tadi pun, third method nak expand pun sama juga. Okay? So, okay. There's another one more example for you to try. So, I'm going to try this together with you. So, let's do this. Okay. Katakanlah I gunakan let tadi, first method. I don't like this blue. I like biru yang kuat sikit. Let u is equals to 3x square minus 4x. So kita letkan u dulu. So apa berlaku kepada u tadi bila kita letkan? So dia dapat satu u kat situ macam tu. Satu lagi y kita akan jadi u kuasa 7. Betul tak? Allah. U, y sama dengan u kuasa 7. Okay. So sekarang kita du over dx kan. Kita differentiate du with respect to x. So what we get is 6x minus 4. Betul tak? What about dy over du kita? Dy over du kita adalah 7u. Now, using the chain rule, dy over dx is equals to dy over du time with du over dx. So, next step is dy over du kita adalah 7u tadi darab dengan du over dx kita ni tadi adalah 6x tolak 4. Macam mana nak buat ni? Macam mana nak buat ni sedangkan u kita tadi adalah apa? Okay. So, sorry, I tertinggal something kat sini. Sepatutnya u 7 turunkan. So kat sini tinggal apa? Patutlah why it's so pelik. Okay, so u 7 tolak 1. Jangan lupa sebab I pun hampir terlupa. So we have 7u power of 6. Okay. So after we got u power of 6, we want to get dy over dx. And we don't want our u here. So what we do is we have to replace u with ini u kita ni tadi kan, iaitu 3x kuasa 2 tolak 4x power of 6 multiplied with 6x minus 4. You miss what to do now. Okay, what you want to do, what you can do, or you can simplify like this. Ini darab dengan ini 7 multiplied with 6x and minus 4. But please don't multiply 7 with kurungan yang ada power. Ni salah. Okay, ini salah. Dia mesti darabkan dengan yang power di satu. Or the other way around, kalau takut salah, you can just leave your answer like this. Okay, I want to make it perfect. So I akan dapat berapa tu? 42x. Okay, 42x tolak 28 darab 3x kuasa 2 tolak 4x power of 6. Ataupun boleh tak kecilkan lagi? Nak kecilkan ke tak nak? Or you can simply letakkan jawapan begitu, tak ada masalah langsung. Ataupun you can do like this. Ataupun kita boleh keluarkan apa nilai yang terendah, kita boleh keluarkan. So we can take out 14. And then yang di dalam ada 3x tolak 2, 3x kuasa 2 tolak 4x power of 6 ni kat luar ke kat dalam ni tadi? Okay, 6 ni kat luar patutnya ni. Okay, power of 6 kat luar. Okay, so nampak mula-mula macam okay, I try to understand. Okay, you have to do more exercise. Do more exercise so that you feel nanti lepas ni kamu rasa senang. Boleh. Okay, so that's all for today. I will give you some questions ataupun exercises for you to do, for you to practice in the link after this dalam in our group. Okay, thank you very much.